I was born in central New Jersey on a dairy farm. Unfortunately, we had some woods on the farm, and I loved, as a pre-teenager, playing in the woods. And my cousins and friends from town would come up in the summer, and we'd spend all day playing in the woods. And I think that's where I first fell in love with forests. See the white flowers up here? That's my tree, Penaclethra. It's the dominant tree at La Selva. It's helped me understand the forest dynamics of La Selva, and it's partly why La Selva is so important to me. Got me my doctorate. Then when I was in graduate school, I saw an announcement for the OTS Fundamentals course in Costa Rica. I thought, wow, that would be really neat to do. But I had to do research that first summer in grad school. So I remembered to look the next winter for another announcement. Sure enough, it was announced. I applied, I got in, changed my life forever. This is a wild cacao, a relative of the chocolate-producing cacao. Theobroma simiarum, there's the flower, which demonstrates the phenomenon of cauliflory, the flowers being born on the trunk or major branches. And I planted these couple trees here probably 20 years ago. First met Dr. Holdridge in 1968 when he was asked to give a dendrology course. So we went out every day with a master dendrologist, Dr. Holdridge, teaching us trees here in this tropical rainforest. And it was wonderful. He knew it incredibly well. And then he gave, at the end of the 2 weeks here at La Selva, his Finca La Selva, he gave us a final exam in this area that we now have as an arboretum. And the final exam was so tough, we were commiserating after taking the final exam, saying, we ought to tell OTS to convert that cacao, the source of chocolate, cacao plantation, into a teaching arboretum. And OTS accepted that record. I was responsible for getting preliminary names, scientific names, on several thousand, I think it was 7,500 trees on the permanent inventory plots at La Selva. Every weekend when I went home to San Jose, I would have a plastic bag of leaves that I would take in on Friday or Monday to show Dr. Holdridge, and he would give me names on many of them. And that's how I got to know him and became a tropical forest ecologist, probably about 1974 or 75. And I was invited to become a member, an associate of the Tropical Science Center, which I did, and I've enjoyed ever since. Working as a freelance consultant affiliated with the Tropical Science Center worked out really well for me. Oh, this is an interesting tree. It's one that carries my name. There are about 25 new species of science that I've collected over the decades, and this was one of the early ones. And the taxonomists have honored me by using my last name as part of the species name of these trees. This one is Ocotea hartshorniana. It's a member of the Lauraceae, which is the avocado family. I had a pretty discerning eye for what might be new and what was definitely not new. It helped us justify the extension of Braulio Carrillo National Park down to La Selva. It's extremely satisfying to know that you're contributing to science. Joe Tosi led the effort to define the area that should be protected in Braulio Carrillo National Park. And some of the parks people wanted just a narrow corridor on each side of the highway. And Joe and I thought it was much more important to protect the watershed rather than just a hillside there. And parks people finally were in agreement with that and created I think initially it was about 40,000 hectare national park. And then we connected it to La Selva after that in, let's see, 82, I think that was. Director of the National Park Service, Mario Gosa, invited me to join him on a small plane flight over future Braulio Carrillo National Park, which was fascinating to do because it's all forest, and saw lots of waterfalls, and we saw deforestation on the perimeter of the park. So, but we had maps, the topo maps on our laps, and we're trying to look and draw at the same time and keep track of where we are so we knew where to put a boundary. And it worked out really well. I think that we covered a lot of threatened ecosystems. They're included in the park now, and hopefully they'll be protected forever. There's a tree that just fell, just broke off. That's happened in the last couple of days. First started studying tree falls and the roles of tree falls in this forest. It seemed to me that the forest was falling down around me. I was hearing them that frequently. And it turns out that it's just an incredibly dynamic forest with lots of tree falls, very fast growing trees filling in the gaps created by the fallen tree there. And so there's a tremendously rapid turnover of trees in many of these tropical forests, which was at the time almost revolutionary finding. The tropical forests are so dynamic. The classic literature thought that tropical forests were very stable, very unchanging. Not La Selva. Y tengo que ir lento porque es difícil caminar, inclusive sobre estos aceros, y mirando para arriba a los árboles. So, uno tiene que parar y mirar y disfrutar estar donde quiere estar. Si eso comprende. Así. Y equipo de clavos y fichas, cinta para marcar. Estimo que tenemos 15,000 árboles marcados en todo el transecto, tanto de la selva como del transecto hacia Volcán Barba. Los datos del campo: diámetro, sobrevivencia, causa de muerte y qué está pasando dinámicamente en el bosque. I'm confident that tropical forests are going to survive the 21st century. I won't be around to see it, but I know that they're going to, and I think it's going to be the young people that lead the way on how using a resource can benefit local people but not destroy it. Keep talking to each other. I think that's fundamental, that we've got to be able to communicate at all levels and all cultures. If we don't do that, we're just going to be in an impasse and fighting each other. Hopefully, young people are learning that, and groups that have been around for a long while, like the Tropical Science Center, will engage with young people, bring young people in, cultivate their interest in the environment, help them do the things that they want to do, and not just say, oh no, you can't do that. I think we can.